أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا السماء انشقت وأذنت ربها وحقت وإذا الأرض مدت وألقت ما فيها وتخلت وأذنت ربها وحقت يا أيها الإنسان إنك قادح إلى ربك قدحا فملاقيه فأما من أوتي كتابه بيمينه فسوف يحاسب حسابا يسيرا وينقلب إلى أهله مسرورا صدق الله العلي العظيم. Ninth class, lecture number 7 for you, and I will continue my previous topic, important topic, the scientific method. Earlier I was giving you general examples. I gave you one example, if you remember, that college gate is open. So how I will prove mathematically, scientifically, not mathematically, you can data analysis is used, but in last step of scientific method you will use maths like data report and data analysis. But technically I will perform experiment by sending one student to the gate. That was the experiment which I performed, and scientifically, without going physically, without checking physically, I proved that gate of the college is closed. And how I follow hypothesis, deduction I made, theory I made, experiment I performed. Now today I will use knowledge of medical sciences to prove the scientific method. I will select one example from the medical science, then I will apply scientific method, and then I will prove that by scientific method that knowledge, that observation which I selected, that is true or wrong, and I will follow all sequence which I followed in the previous example, which was general example. So this is very good idea, and you will be able to know by this way that how the laws are produced, how the theories are produced in the biology, chemistry and physics, and especially in the biology, in the sense because I am giving you example from the medical sciences. Look here, now I am giving you one example. Before starting one example, I will tell you what are the observations which were normally present during the disease malarial research. Malaria was dreadful disease in past centuries, and many people were dying, like coronavirus people are dying. Similarly, this disease was also very harmful, because currently we have medicine, therefore that is not much harmful. But in those time, in those reign, those era, the malarial disease was much dreadful for the people, and whenever you have malaria, so normally you was thinking that you will die. Therefore scientists start searching the cause of malaria, like coronavirus cause is being researched by the scientists and vaccination is being developed. Similarly, in that tenure, the malarial drug was going to be invented by different scientists, and therefore they were just thinking that what is the cause of the malaria. What happened? The scientist was the Levron was the scientist. He confirmed, because he was investigating, he confirmed that malarial patients have small parasite. Parasite definition, you know, the parasite which is a guest in your house, which is getting food from you in your drawing room, and which is also getting shelter from your house because he is sitting in your drawing room. I am just giving example, okay? And now he is telling that I will also make loss to your family, mean that I will do. He also theft something, and he was also theft something or anything, stolen anything from your house. It means that he is staying in your house, he is getting food, and he is stealing something from your house, giving loss to your family. It means this is the definition of the parasite. Parasite lives inside your body, gets the shelter, gets the food, and causes disease, means loss to your body. Similarly, when any guest comes, and just I am giving examples. So mean that parasite is the small microorganism, and this small parasite which causes malaria, name is Plasmodium. So if you are thinking, sir, only bacteria cause disease, only bacteria cause disease, only the virus cause disease, no, there are a lot of other microorganisms. We are not giving much importance to them because they are little less diseases as compared to bacteria and the virus. Plasmodium is a unicellular parasite. Unicellular parasite means it consists of one cell only. So Levron saw, first of all, Plasmodium First of all, the plasmodium in the blood of the malarial patient. So this was discovery basically. It means that Levron as a scientist observed. So I will start a scientific method from observation, because you know observation is the right idea to start the scientific method. So they started the scientific method from the observation, and two type of observation you already know: quantitative observation, qualitative observation. In the previous lecture I told you, when you will use the mathematical numbers like boiling point of the water is 100 Celsius, that is the quantitative observation. When you will say boiling point of the water is much high, that is the qualitative observation. But I am not using the quantitative observation here. Most of the observations in the sciences we use a qualitative observation. Qualitative observation. Look here, Levron saw in the blood a parasite which was the plasmodium. So what is observation as a scientist you can make? First of all I will make observation. What is the observation? I can make myself, you can make yourself. This is very easy. You make observation in your house, in the college, outside in the ground. A lot of speculations during play. You made a lot of comments during playing football match. You make a lot of observations. So that's not a much technical phenomena. I make malarial patients have parasite in the blood. How I know? Because Levron saw. This is observation I have made. So I will make many observations, and one of the observation I will select which is closer. So that will be important for me, because the observation selection is a truly scientific phenomena, and I think that is the backbone of scientific method. We'll go back. I will not make hypothesis first of all. Now, if you are making hypothesis, you have to make. But before that, now I will tell you another observation. You know, in those days when malaria was dreadful disease, in current scenario of corona, what is happening in the world? Somebody says in the UK, dexamethasone is a very useful medicine against the coronavirus. No, we are accepting, because we are becoming ill. We are dying. So when we are dying, we are just thinking any type of disease comes in our life and we start using that. Even dexamethasone is a steroid that damages the white blood cell, but we are still ready to use that. In Pakistan, you know that when dexamethasone medicine was announced to be drug of the coronavirus in the UK by the UK doctors, in Pakistan now you will not find dexamethasone in the medical store. Even it was just I think one vial for 1 rupee injection was available, and normally it was banned for human body because that was being used for animals, because that decreased the white blood cell. Now it become a gold. So definitely we are searching medicines at how we will treat the coronavirus. So similarly, in those days when malaria was dreadful disease, so what was happening? The quinine was the plant, and the quinine was the plant. Its branch was used to treat the malaria. Quinine, Quinine, quinine was used. And before that quinine, I will tell you, before that cinchona bark was used. Cinchona bark was used. This was also a plant bark was used. And technically the merchants who were transporting this bark from the one country to another country, they think, why not we use another plant? Because you know that plant was expensive. They used quina plant, which was closer to cinchona. So this was technically dishonesty done by merchants, but this honesty was very useful, because quina plant was even more useful than the cinchona, and that chemical extracted from the quina, that was the quinine. So I made another observation. The quinine is a very approved very good drug for the malaria. So this is another type of the observation I can make here. Now we'll go back to after making several observations, I give one more observation. The people who were living closer to the water area, they were more victims. So what is observation? The people who sleep close to the water, close to the river, they get more dirty water, they get more malaria. Similarly, some people were saved who were living near the smoky area, fire or smoky areas. Those people were getting the less malaria. That is also observation. So many observations are there. Now I have to, this is very technical, because I have to select one option. Just like you are going to purchase any property, 7 properties are there. If you are a businessman, now you will think which property is more useful for me. Understand? Similarly, 7 questions come in the in the paper, and you are sitting in examination hall, and you have choice, and you have to solve only one. That is quite tricky work. And you will see question number 1, question number 2. I know all questions. Now you will see that which question you have to solve, because you want to get maximum marks. It's quite a selection of that question will be a hallmark for you. Therefore, selection of good observation is much difficult work. So I make now, and your book will also verify this observation. And if you will see that book, we make that observation. That major observation is that Lebron told that parasite Plasmodium is present in the blood. This is the major discovery. Remaining discoveries are independent discoveries. Dependent discoveries mean that we can do these discoveries later on. But this discovery was main discovery. So I make hypothesis Plasmodium. Don't worry about the Plasmodium. I told you that is parasite which cause disease. So Plasmodium is the cause of malaria. So this one observation I selected by and taken by Lebron. This one observation I selected, and that was taken by Plasmodium. Is you are reading Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. Plasmodium spelling Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a unicellular parasite. And headings hypothesis. This is hypothesis. This is hypothesis. You can see heading hypothesis. Now we go back. Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. And now I have to change this statement into such format that I can perform experiment. If I am able to perform experiment, it means that my hypothesis is correct. So whenever I will select any hypothesis, when I will select any observation for hypothesis, one observation will be hypothesis. So if you will select any observation for the hypothesis, that observation should be tested. It should be testable. It's written in your book as well. Testable, and it can be tested. If I cannot perform experiment and I cannot test that hypothesis is wrong. So therefore, that's why I was telling you that is very technical work. So whenever you will see observations in selection of hypothesis, 2-3 points you will understand. Should be testable and should be a quality observation, and very good observation, because you have 7-8 observations in your mind. You will select one observation which is a very good, just like a question you select in the paper, which question you will solve. Now go back to deduction. Deduction come after hypothesis, and now that is a quite easier phenomenon, because now you will convert Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. You will convert into a hypothesis, into a statement in which you can perform experiment. If you can perform experiment. Here it is not written if and then, but because still space was less, but still I will speak orally and I will tell you, malarial patients should possess Plasmodium. This is the little deduction I have made, but you will write long sentence which I am telling you now. You will add the word if and then, if and then. If and then word I am telling, because when you will use if and then, you can perform experiment on that if and then. If Plasmodium is the Plasmodium is the parasite, if the Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria, so malarial patient must possess the Plasmodium in the blood. This is testable. This is breaking news in malarial disease. Now you are understanding how the scientific method is very useful, because now I made a statement. This is very easy to test. If the Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria, then each malarial patient must possess Plasmodium in the blood, testable. I can select 100 patients. And 100 patients you will check the blood. If the Plasmodium is present, it means that this hypothesis is correct. So 100 patients you have to just check. So I will tell you, almost 97 people almost were being checked. When out of 100 they were having the Plasmodium when this experiment was performed. After deduction experiment was done. 100 people were checked. 100 people were checked. When they were checked, 97 almost. I will tell you correct numbers. I think 92, 97. There are different numbers in the different books, but 97 people mean most of the people were having the plasmodium in the blood, and only 3 people. This is a question mark, sir. 3 people, why they have, even they have malaria? If the plasmodium is the cause of the malaria, if your hypothesis is correct, if your experiment is correct, why 3 patients were without plasmodium? No, that was with plasmodium, but that plasmodium was doing a reproduction, mean that was in developmental stage, and that was in incubation stage. The word written in your book, incubation stage, means that is just growing, that is not properly grown, that is young plasmodium, that will not come in the blood because that is in the form of the crystal. So it means that also consists of the plasmodium, but that will grow after some time. So this is a very good idea to understand, use the scientific method. Now I tell you, these are the observations. Melee mean bad, area mean bad air mean, this is also a question mark, sir, why the bad air? In the next lecture I will tell you why malaria name, these 2 words, melee area was used in this disease, and why melee area was used in this disease, and reason is that because mosquito was involved. My mosquito discussion on the mosquito I will do in the next lecture, because mosquito is also involved in causing this disease. But major parasite we identified that this is the plasmodium which caused the malaria. Mosquito don't cause the malaria. It help in the formation of the malaria because it carry the plasmodium. That is the discussion which is in the next lectures. Now I come back in the when the malaria like coronavirus disease was there. No, there was no drug and the people were just investigating. Quinine was the chemical extracted from the quina plant, and that plant that chemical was proved good medicine against the malaria, and that was the point. Now go back to another discussion. Now many observations were there. Plasmodium, the Levron, now I have to identify it from your book as well, because if you will study the book. Levron discovered the malarial patient, plasmodium in the malarial patient first of all, and then he made many observations. Then we made many, he did not make observations. That was only one observation by the Lebanon, that the plasmodium present, that was the quality observation we selected. Plasmodium seen in the blood, plasmodium seen in the blood of the malarial patient, one observation. Drinking of the water of the marshy places does not cause malaria, and if you are drinking dirty water, the malaria will not be caused, because a lot of the people were thinking due to drinking of dirty water malaria is being caused, so that hypothesis was rejected. Quinine is an effective drug, that is also very good. Malaria and the marshy areas, dirty areas where the water dirty, that is related with each other. When you are living closer to dirty area, sewage water is there, the malaria will be caused more. So this was actually the observation, and selection of the hypothesis was that, which hypothesis was selected? Plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. That was the hypothesis selected. And now deduction, the same deduction which I told you. If the plasmodium is the cause of the malaria, then the malarial patient must possess the plasmodium in their blood. Then the scientist performed experiment, and that experiment was performed, and that experiment was proven track that only 7, now I am correcting my numbers, out of 7 people was without plasmodium. 100, it means almost 93 people were having, out of 7 out of 100 was without malaria, without plasmodium, sorry. When it was tested, that plasmodium present in the malarial patient or not, because he was checking the experiment. What was the experiment? What was the deduction? If plasmodium is the cause of the malaria, then all malarial patient must possess the plasmodium in their blood. Now the scientists checked 100 people, as I was telling you, 7 out of 100 was without plasmodium and 93 were having the plasmodium. And now it is also clear that 7, I told you already, this is a question once again rise, sir, 7 people were having without plasmodium, even they were having malaria. Why they don't have plasmodium? Even they were having the plasmodium, they were having the malaria. Reason is that because plasmodium was in the growing stage, incubation stage. This comes in the objective type. You must be very alert in watching these information. That is in the incubation stage, incubation period. Mean that is growing. So wherever vote goes, that plasmodium present in those 7 or not? Yes, it is present. If it is in the form of the larva or egg, it means plasmodium is present. It will grow. In the future, it will become the adult plasmodium, and that will also come in the blood. And now you prove scientifically how the malaria is caused by using the scientific method. First observation, then hypothesis, then deduction, and then experiment. Now theory is formed. Theory, what is the theory now? That is confirmed. It is theory is formed. It is confirmation is there that plasmodium is the cause of the malaria. Thank you very much. This was lecture number 7.